Here's your wrestling news for November 2nd, 2022. And we're kicking off today with WWE, as the company has a huge roster across its 3 brands, but they've now parted ways with 5 NXT superstars. As PW Insider refers to report, 5 superstars were cut yesterday, the most notable of which being Bodhi Hayward. Hayward had been part of Andre Chase's Chase U and had proven to be popular with fans in the role, but was recently written off TV with an attack from Duke Hudson. Before coming to WWE, Sloane Jacobs had competed on the Indies as the Notorious Mimi and signed with WWE in March 2022, but she too is gone. Jacobs had just competed at this past weekend's live events and was impressive in the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament earlier this year. Erica Yan has also been released, as the Chinese superstar signed with WWE last year but hadn't wrestled for NXT in over a month. Damaris Griffin is also another name to be cut, and the 26-year-old hadn't even been wrestling for a whole year with WWE before being cut. Ru Fang is the final name to be cut and was signed after being scouted in China and leaves after making appearances on both NXT TV and 205 Live. If past releases are anything to go by, then it's likely these NXT superstars will be subject to a 30-day non-compete clause, and we wish these 5 well with wherever they go next after being released. It's never easy to see anyone lose their job, but by far the most surprising release was Bodhi Hayward. The Chase University member was abruptly fired in the midst of a running storyline, which has proven to be especially difficult for fans. In a video shared to social media, Hayward used his real name Brady Booker and said that he's hurt and embarrassed to have been let go by WWE. Booker added that for the past 18 months, his life has been his work with WWE and Andre Chase University, adding that he's no stranger to adversity. Whatever comes next for Booker, it won't be on WWE NXT or the main roster, and clearly being let go after months of being a regular feature is proving to be tough on the now former superstar. Hayward's departure from WWE this week has come out of the blue, but it is more than just budget cuts that has seen him be axed. Hayward had been prominently featured on TV, making his abrupt release even more strange, and on Wrestling Observer Live, Brian Alvarez reported that he had been a handful to work with. Alvarez insinuated that WWE would not have cut someone in the middle of a story if they just wanted to save money, and that they would not have put him in a prominent storyline to begin with if they didn't think he was TV ready. On last week's NXT, Hayward's release was explained by Booker T, saying he got his scholarship yanked, and Duke Hudson wasted no time in trying to take Bodhi's spot, even leaping through a wall Shockmaster style. It wasn't specified how exactly Hayward proved to be a handful behind the scenes, but whatever issues WWE had with him, they won't have to worry about them anymore. During Halloween Havoc, a vignette aired on the show, which teased the return of Dominik Dijakovic to the Gold brand. This video saw somebody burning the mask of T-Bar, Dijakovic's Retribution character, and fans got more clues this week. In a second video, Dijakovic can be seen burning his Retribution mask while speaking about bringing a new order of high justice. Dijakovic also wrote down the name Justice Anthony in a book, but it's unclear if that will be the name he goes by from now on, as WWE's internal roster has him listed under his Dijakovic moniker. All we know is that the T-Bar character is over, and for fans of Dijakovic's NXT run who were disappointed with Retribution, this change away from T-Bar can't come soon enough. Dijakovic's return to NXT was teased last night on the 2-hour show, but he wasn't the only superstar who received a cryptic video. It was on last week's episode that WWE teased the arrival of Scripps, who left an ominous voice message with the WWE Performance Center, and that happened again last night. In this new message, Scripps warned that one by one you all shall fall, and said that they'll express how they feel in their bones when they step in the ring. They said, "You can screen my calls, but you cannot screen my fury. One by one, you all shall fall, so just let it happen as it's written on the wall. Coming to NXT almost feels like home, because inside those ropes, the canvas will be the place how I express how I feel in my bones. I will leave my mark, and I warn you all of my imminent start. Sincerely, Scripps." As if that wasn't enough, there was a video with a hooded figure spray painting what appeared to be the walls of the Performance Center with the word Scripps. After the success of Bray Wyatt's return, it was reported that WWE are more open to outside-the-box ideas, and hopefully we won't be waiting much longer to find out who exactly Scripps is. We've got CM Punk news now, as the former world champion is continuing to serve his AEW suspension following the backstage fight at All Out. It was reported last week that AEW is seeking to buy out the remainder of Punk's contract, and there's now been another sign that he's finished. Speaking on the latest episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, Nick Hausman said that he's spoken to those close to Punk, and they think not only is he done in AEW, but he's finished in the ring. Cash does not seem to be an issue for this guy. He's got inroads in Hollywood going on right now. Stephen Amell's certainly shining him up with what they're trying to do over on heels right now. I have a lot of people that have known Punk that say to me, this guy's never gonna wrestle again. As a top name in WWE and AEW, Punk no doubt has a small fortune that can keep him living comfortably for the rest of his life, so it's not like he needs to wrestle. With that said, it's a shame that Punk's incredible career will likely end in controversy and disgrace, and time will tell if he returns to AEW, returns to WWE, or if this is truly it for CM Punk. Punk made some pretty shocking claims during the now infamous All Out rant, claiming that the AEW EVPs couldn't handle managing a target and accused them of spreading false reports about him. These are some huge claims by Punk, and some have even suggested that AEW could sue Punk for defamation, or that he could sue AEW for a possible wrongful termination. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer gave an update on the situation, saying that neither side has filed a lawsuit against the other, but added that this could still happen. Meltzer added that there is a lot of information regarding what happened that is yet to come out, and predicts that a ton of info will never see the light of day. Tony Khan is kept especially tight-lipped regarding the All Out fight and investigation, which is now closed, but for the time being, neither Punk nor the promotion are calling their lawyers. This Saturday, WWE will host their annual Crown Jewel event in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, or at least that's what the plan is supposed to be. These shows are known for drumming up controversy, and now forces outside of WWE's control are raising questions about the show. The Wall Street Journal reports that Saudi Arabia has received a word of warning from the US, who say that the Middle Eastern nation should brace for an imminent attack from Iran. Saudi officials are saying that Tehran, Iran's capital, could carry out the attacks as a distraction for its public, and there's been protests across the country since September. It's unclear if Saudi Arabia is taking offensive countermeasures or not, but the National Security Council says the US is ready with its own response. When WWE sources spoke to PW Insider, they said the Crown Jewel is scheduled to go ahead as planned, and Dave Meltzer added that they are monitoring the situation closely. WWE may want to put on their show, but of course there are real-world problems that they cannot prepare for. But for the time being, Crown Jewel is still set to take place this Saturday in Riyadh. Since July, Triple H has been running both WWE's creative team and their talent relations department, and has certainly been busy with making changes since then. The vast majority of changes made by the game have been praised by fans, including bringing back released talent, but he's now facing criticism from Vince Russo. On the latest Legion of Raw, Russo said it's simply impossible for the game to be head of creative and have a ton of roles across the company. Saying that Triple H isn't Superman, Russo said that being WWE's head of creative is not a part-time job, and that this week's Raw suffered from the cerebral assassin being so busy. Russo may not like the game's busy schedule, but there has been a definitive improvement in WWE's product since Triple H took over, so perhaps it's Russo who has underestimated the King of Kings. Arguably, the biggest part of this week's Raw was the brawl between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, which saw a crowd of referees and wrestlers try and split them up. One man who has a history with Brock and Bobby is Matt Riddle, who had an interesting way of trying to break things up. As chaos broke out and wrestlers tried to use their brute strength to pry the two former world champions, Riddle decided to use one of his flip-flops to threaten Lesnar, which proved to be rather ineffective. Riddle feuded with Lashley last year over the US title and has made it clear that he wants to face Lesnar one day, and he's ready to bust out one, if not both of his flip-flops to take on the Beast. Back to NXT as Raine made her debut on last week's show, being revealed as the fourth member of the Schism. Raine is also WWE's first fourth-generation superstar and is the daughter of The Rock, but you won't hear the NXT star bringing up her dad. When BT Sport tweeted a picture from Raine's segment this week, asking fans what they thought The Rock's reaction to the schism would be, Ava made it clear that she isn't interested in riding her dad's coattails. In a single-word response, Raine made it clear that she thinks bringing up her father is irrelevant, and the initial tweet was deleted by BT Sport, who later responded that they were just joking. Ava Raine may be a fourth-generation superstar, but she plans on being known as far more than The Rock's daughter and has the chance to prove herself as her own woman as part of the schism. And we're ending today like we started with NXT, as R-Truth appeared on this week's show and was his usual fun-loving self, but things on the white and gold brand did not go according to plan. In the show's opener, Truth squared off against Grayson Waller and did a dive outside of the ring, but the 24/7 champion landed hard. The match was immediately stopped as ringside doctors checked in on him, and Waller was declared the winner as R-Truth was in no condition to compete. Truth was seen grabbing at his knee after the match and had to be helped to the back by ringside attendants to end the segment. The full extent of R-Truth's condition remains unknown as of this time, but we'll keep you, the viewers, updated, and we're sending our best to the wrestling veteran. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.